Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here. It is 6 o'clock, so good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 meeting of the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll move into roll call. Doesn't look like Commissioner Bowie's here. Commissioner Smith?
Present.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Present.
Vice Chair Fizer?
Present.
Secretary Peterman is out this evening. Commissioner Shanks?
Present.
Looks like Commissioner Key is not here. Mayor Turnbow?
Present.
And Chairman Wiggins. We do have 6 this evening. No personal appearances scheduled, so we'll move right into item 5, our consent agenda. One item, item A, approval of minutes from the October 15th, 2024 meeting. Entertain a motion to dispose of this item, please.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Faulkner.
I move that we approve minutes from our October 15th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Faulkner, second by Commissioner Smith to approve the minutes of the October 15th, 2024 meeting. Any discussion of the item? Seeing none, all in favor? It'll pass unanimously, 6-0. Thank you. No unfinished business, so we will move right into item 7, new business. We have 2 items. Our first item is item A, adoption of the 2025 meeting calendar. Mr. Grass.
Thank you, sir. Pardon my voice this evening. I'll get that out of the way before I start too much here. As the commission knows, the rules and procedures that you all adopt each year require that staff bring forward the first meeting in November, the meeting calendar for the upcoming year. The calendar before you is what staff uses to dictate where meetings fall, what meetings take place within the calendar year between planning and zoning and city council. We have a similar one for Board of Adjustment that they'll review at their next meeting. So staff has gone through, updated the meetings for this upcoming year and all the respective deadlines, and that's before you all this evening for your consideration. We would ask that the commission accept the calendar for the upcoming year so that we can publish it and make it available for applicants moving into the new year. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. I assume everybody on the commission has had a chance to review the calendar. I don't think they've ever led us astray on this, but does anybody have any questions or concerns with the calendar as presented by staff? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept, I suppose. Mr. Zer, would that be just to accept the, very good, to adopt? Perfect. I would entertain a motion for the adoption of the 2025 meeting calendar.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mayor Turnbow, second by Vice Chair Fizer. Any discussion of the item? Seeing none, all in favor? That will pass adoption unanimously, 6-0. Moving right along. Thank you very much. All right, let me get my stuff up here real quick. All right, so we are now on to our second item. Item B, Original Town Block 14 Alley Right-of-Way Vacation. This does require a public hearing, which I will open now at 6:04 p.m. And with that, I would ask the applicant or the city staff to present the case, please.
I would ask the applicant to come forward first and make their presentation to the commission.
Thank you, sir. Pam, please provide your name and address for the record, which I know you know the drill.
Pam Hatcher, 1403 North Madison, Raymore, Missouri. I am the broker and owner of Integrity Group Real Estate, and I own the building at 303 South Washington, Raymore, Missouri. I currently have a tenant in there of a dance studio tenant that provides dance services from 3 years old until 18 years old. I am currently requesting a continuance tonight of tonight's hearing due to the number of absentees from your board, because I do understand the number of votes required to pass this ordinance. It's a majority vote, and due to the number of attendees that you have missing, I would request a continuance.
Good. Mr. Zer, any comments, sir?
Chairman, in the past, the commission has been amenable and open to allowing the applicants to control a little bit with regard to the full board or a full board being present. It is within the board's discretion, but in the past it has been precedential for the board to accept those kind of requests. You have not taken evidence with regard to the public hearing at this particular point, so it would be a continuation of the public hearing to a date certain. And that would be by motion, vote, and approval from the commission if you're inclined to do so.
Do any members of the commission have any questions or thoughts regarding the idea of a continuation?
Mr. Chair, I think since the applicant has requested it formally in front of us, I would make that motion that we push this meeting to the next regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Would be, David, what's the date?
I'm looking that up right now. I'm
I
sorry.
believe that would be the first weekend of December.
I think it's the 3rd, December 3rd.
December 3rd would be the next meeting.
So it would be a continuation of the public hearing to December 3rd.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Mayor, do you want to? We've not reached the public comment section because we've not gotten into the actual application itself at this point.
Right? It'll remain open.
Yeah, so it would remain open, at which point we would hear public comments as we go through the process, which involves the applicant, the city staff report, and then public comment. So since we've not gotten to the actual application portion, we would not entertain public comments at this particular section of this case.
You have a motion, I believe, to continue the public hearing and the matter to December 3rd evening.
Correct?
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mayor Turnbow, second by Vice Chair Pfizer, to continue this case, case 24022, original town block at 14 Alley Vacation, to December 3rd. Any discussion of the continuation request? Seeing none, we will vote on that motion. And that would pass unanimously 6-0. So the public hearing does technically maintain, is still open at this time, but we will do the continuation. So with that, that would conclude new business for this evening.
Thank you very much.
And we would go into item 8, the city council report.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Since your last commission meeting, there has been one legislative session of the Raymore City Council that occurred on October 28th, 2024. During the course of that hearing, or that meeting, there were a couple of items of interest for you, including the adoption of the fiscal year 2025 city budget. You all had the opportunity to review and have a presentation of the capital improvements programs that will be presented. Also of note, of a establishment of a stop sign at the intersection of Creekmore Drive and Kettering Lane. I'd note that you're likely going to end up seeing a stop sign and a sign before that that's going to say stop sign approaching. So
It is already there.
Heads up for anyone who's driving at that particular intersection. There was also the issuance of general obligation bonds for 2024, and under new business, there were no items of substantial significance that came before you. I think that would conclude my report with regard to the City Council meeting of October 28th. Obviously, Mayor Turnbow was present for that, as well as Mr. Gress and Mr. Salisbury, so if they have additional input, I'm sure you'd welcome that input.
Yeah, nothing further to add.
Okay.
I definitely noticed that new stop sign, and I am guilty of also missing that new stop sign a couple of times. Many people have, but it is definitely a welcome addition. That will conclude city council report. We will move into staff report. Mr. Gress.
Thank you, sir. I've got a few items to share with the commission this evening. In your packet, excuse me, was a monthly report for the department for the month of October. You can see we did finish out the fiscal year with a significant number of building permits. We issued 21 in the month of October, which was the busiest month that we've had all year. So that was a good way to end our fiscal year. In terms of building construction activity, the commission has probably seen the Chick-fil-A project is moving right along. They should be completely finished with that building in the next 15 to 20 days. They anticipate at this point doing some training and hiring. They put up a now hiring sign over the weekend. Their schedule right now is to probably open the second or third week of January. They, just by principle of their company, do not open stores over the holidays. So after the new year, they will work on getting that store open. So it'll be good to see that project wrapping up and serving food within the community. Across the street at the multi-tenant building that the commission approved here several months ago, progress has picked back up on that project. They've got some pretty good progress going with framing. In addition to the dentist tenant that was present at the meeting, that was the applicant, I know they have secured at least one tenant for the drive-through spot. It's an exciting one, but I can't unfortunately share that with you yet. And I know they're in talks with another tenant for the space right next to that. So it's good to see that space getting some attention before it's finished. So hopefully some exciting news coming forth there from our economic development department. And then further on down the road at Walmart. If you've been inside, you've seen that it's pretty well finished on the inside. They did a nice remodel to bring it up to their current generation of stores, if you will. So looks really nice, and they're wrapping up some of the construction on their the expansion, which was the grocery drop-off, or I'm sorry, grocery pickup area. So that project should be wrapped up here soon. In general, that would conclude my staff report for the department. We obviously will now have a meeting on December 3rd, so I'll be in touch with the commission on that and make sure I get the required notices sent back out for the continuation of that public hearing. This item was scheduled to go before the council on December 9th, so we'll have a quick turnaround with the application to the city council, but we'll be able to manage that. Lastly, I did want to share with you all, here yesterday, we did hire a new city planner. They are coming to us from Blue Springs, so they'll be wrapping up some of their projects there over the next month, and then transitioning here kind of mid-December into the new year. So we'll be excited to fill that position and keep things moving forward in Raymore. That concludes my staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gress?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
David, as the pre-opening to Whataburger, I think there was a traffic pattern that was published for the assumed numbers that would go in there. Have we worked on that with the police department and have a traffic pattern?
We were just told the other day kind of what their opening plan is, so we'll be having those conversations to figure out what measures are going to be needed to try and mitigate any concerns over there. Their parking lot and area is not as big as what Whataburger had to deal with in terms of extra space, so it might take a little more planning on that area with some traffic control measures, but we will work on that and make sure it's put in place.
Okay. I think it helped to have it pre-published, though, on what the expectations were for the customers, so.
Yes. Yeah, we will, once we get that plan in place, we'll make sure our communications department gets that pushed out ahead of, hopefully by the first week of January, so people can start seeing that.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Gress? Mr. Salisbury, anything, sir?
Just a couple quick updates from my side. The Ward Road project is nearing completion, couple punch list items, but been really happy with VF Anderson and their work out there. Got that project done pretty quick compared to what we were thinking, so we're happy with that. The Sunset Lane project, the final little piece of it has started to move forward with grading, so they are wrapping that up, or getting started on that and hoping to wrap that up in March. So other than that, happy to take any questions. And that concludes my report.
I was curious about 163rd. Obviously, the paving has been done for quite a while. You guys redid that intersection there at Gore and Madison this last week. I see a lot of is it utility work that's still going on maybe in the area? Or
Yeah, so
there
there's
an
a water, they had to do a water tie-in under the intersection, then they did the overlay on the intersection to kind of freshen it up, and now they're doing the rest of the water line down to where they left off, and then it should be open after that.
Okay, and then you said Sunset, the north-south port will connect from down here up to 163rd, hopefully by March?
Yeah, it'll be temperature dependent just based
Sure.
on the asphalt, but they are hoping to pave it in like late March. So,
Fantastic.
yep.
Any other questions for Mr. Salisbury? Very good, thank you very much. This would be the point where we would turn to public comment. There no longer appears to be any public in here, but if anybody would like to make a public comment, they could do so at this time. Seeing none, I will move right on along to commission member comments. I'm just going to go all the way to my far right here with Commissioner Shanks, sir.
Thank you for putting this together tonight. And maybe we could talk offline. I felt like tonight was weird in some ways, and I don't know what I don't know, and I would just kind of like to maybe know the strategic decision behind the continuance and stuff. So I just feel like there's probably more to that than what I know. So maybe we could talk at some point. I don't know. But other than that, good to see everybody, and thanks for the quick meeting. So.
Mr. Zer, I don't know if there's anything at this particular point that would be appropriate to say. I know obviously you mentioned when applicants usually formally request it, we do provide a continuance. Well, that's neither here nor there at this particular point, but just
From the standpoint of an applicant's position, because a decision or a recommendation from this body requires a majority of the body as a full, as opposed to a majority of a quorum, that requires, so when you have 3 absences for an evening, that's a substantial slap. The decrease in the potential votes that go along with that. From a tactical standpoint, applicant was unaware that we would have 3 absences until the applicant appeared this evening. Honestly, I think staff was unaware that we would have 3 absences until they appeared this evening, and so advised the applicant of the right to request that continuance, and they chose to do so.
Because it's the majority of the group, so it still would require a 5.
That's correct.
Minimum of 5 vote. So here, if there was 2 people that dissent, then, or whatever, then it would.
I didn't know that we made them aware of that.
Yep. We have tended to do that with any application or applicant that comes in where we're going to have multiple absences.
Additionally, the applicant is also very educated in the process of this kind of stuff as well. Yeah. Very good. Mr. Faulkner, sir.
As always, thanks to staff, and it's good to see you all.
Vice Chair Pfizer.
Also, thanks for the explanation. I think that helped a lot. I see in our packet that Ms. Jordan participated in the Pinewood Derby, and congratulations. You got little trophies there. It's pretty cool. Thanks to everybody.
Commissioner Smith.
Appreciate the staff, especially tonight. Everything was a very fluid situation. You guys handled it very well. I appreciate that. So,
Mayor Turnbow, sir.
Just to recap on a couple of things that have happened in the last week. So the expansion of the rack is complete, and they had the craft show in there this last Saturday. It was a great turnout. Heard a lot of positive things about the craft show and how wonderful it was for people to walk through an expanded recreational activity center. So that worked out really good. Have had a lot of good feedback from the folks that attended the Veterans Day event on the evening of November the 11th. It was a huge success. It was a little different that the Parks Department put together a program for recognition only of the, there were no speakers. I addressed the group for a short period of time and then recognized the different services in the room. And then we offered dinner as well to everyone that participated. So Mr. Troutman and Mr. Rulo cooked hamburgers and hot dogs, and it was fun, and had an opportunity for all the veterans to visit. We had a World War II veteran there at that particular event that day, and was individually recognized by the group. That was a nice event. And then just to remind everybody, the Mayor's Christmas tree lighting will be December the 6th at 6 p.m. at TB Hanna Station. The skating rink will not be, because of the weather, will not be ready at that time. We have to wait for cooler weather. So a lot of the old festivities that used to occur under the shelter will occur again this year with Santa being there and picture-taking opportunities, that type of thing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And to go along with that is obviously the Christmas tree trail. I believe that starts here at the end of November. So definitely something to take in while you're out there. Thank you to staff. Thank you everybody for the brief meeting. Obviously, we don't necessarily know until we get here, but that is a good reminder. I know I did hear from Secretary Peterman earlier this week or over the weekend that he was going to be unable to attend. Things come up, life happens, but if you could please let us know. Typically ask folks to email at minimum Mr. Gress, but a lot of times either to the whole commission or to myself and David, just so we are aware of numbers. I had one quick question. Mayor Turnbow mentioned the rack, which I'm actually headed to for my son's basketball practice here in just a little bit. The facility does look great. It is substantially bigger, which is going to be really good for our city. I can't remember from that project, is there plans for an expansion parking lot out there? I know having like kids that have been in flag football on the weekends between volleyball and flag football and soccer and everything else, and baseball, heaven forbid, parking is literally in every piece of grass that you could possibly find.
Yeah,
The
you're
rack now
not the
doubled.
only one that has mentioned that. I think that's something probably the Parks Board will take up in the very near future, but there was no expansion that was planned.
I couldn't remember if on the north side of
project.
the building, if there were plans for a satellite lot there, because now that we, that little lot, just even for events at the rack, now that the rack is twice the size, you'll have twice as many teams. We need 5 times more parking than we have out at Rec Park, which we got to do with what we got to do with. But anyway, I was just curious if there were plans. So clearly must not be. Other than that, thank you again. Thanks to staff. I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving next week. Eat lots of food, eat extra dessert. The calories don't count that day. So other than that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Faulkner.
I move that we adjourn this evening's meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Faulkner, second by Vice Chair Pfizer. Any discussion? Didn't think so. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.